The Neil Diamond Musical, A Beautiful Noise, the uplifting true story, featuring all the songs you love from his Grammy Award-winning career. October 21st through 26th at Des Moines Civic Center. On sale at dmpa.org.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of InCYde Zone, courtesy of Wyffels Hybrids. I'm Jacqueline Cordova, and I'm joined by Jake Remsberg, my bad, and Jirehl Brock.
Colin, personal.
Yeah. Colin didn't show up for work today.
No, taking the day off. Lucky guy.
No.
It is kind of weird, this 3 screen thing that we got.
I know.
Feels weird if you're watching.
It's weird, yeah.
We're not used to it.
If you're a YouTube listener, enjoy a more close-up face shot of me and the crew.
And of course, as always, Aiden producing the show on his birthday.
Happy birthday, Aiden!
Come on in.
Go.
Yep, come on in here.
Yeah.
Come on in here.
Yeah.
The man that makes the magic happen. Well, you guys are listening to this on Monday. Iowa State beat Arkansas State on the road 24-16. Hopefully everyone's had some time to digest, settle into the bye week. Could not come at a better time. The Cyclones are 4-0 for the second year in a row. Something that's never happened. So this is the first time in program history, 2 back-to-back seasons 4-0. Right, Aiden? I got that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
I was like, I wrote that down and I questioned myself there. But of course, again, wasn't super pretty. Everybody's talked about it, complained about it. I felt it watching it. My God.
Oh, my goodness.
The up and down of being like, yes. And then it's like, ooh.
Yeah, I think it's a good time for a bye week. Let's just say that. That's a good way to start off. But other than that, I mean, first, I want to say, I think we should have a team outing at the Neil Diamond Musical. I mean, come on, that would be epic. At
Des Moines Civic Center?
Oh, yeah. Can't wait for that.
Jirehl, you're going to have to drive back up.
Yeah, Jirehl, I'll make the trip.
No, I'll be there. I'll make
All
the trip.
expenses paid for by Remy. I'll pay for your gas.
I'll make the trip for you, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. But yeah, I mean, short answer is, wow, what a day, stressful day yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But we say it all the time. You only have 12 guaranteed opportunities in the fall, and when you get a win, even if it's just by 1, you count it. So 4-0, I have to feel relieved going into the bye week after that. So I'm ready for a bye week myself, and I don't even play anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, obviously not on the team anymore. And looking at that game, I want to come on here and be like the hard devil's advocate, oh, what are we doing? This could be if we look like this now, then what are we going to look like when we get into Big 12 play against some real teams? But being a former player and kind of knowing how it feels, I want to say these dudes are mentally done right now. I mean, they just it's a great time for the bye week, and I'm almost happy that we got 4 games in before the bye week, because that just gives us, because we have another bye week later. Is that correct? Just
correct,
because we played,
in October.
We playing on week 0. It gives you that opportunity to get another bye week in, and you spread your games out a little bit more. So it could help this. It could help this team tremendously. Just getting some fresh legs, getting a fresh mind. I mean, and you've heard about it all week. They've played so many high emotion games. I've played a game in freaking Ireland, a whole nother time zone. So it's when you're looking at all of that, and you're looking at the way that these guys fought to win the games that they have, you got to be happy, and you have to be a little bit happy and kind of just take those bad things that came with it. Obviously, there's stuff that they can learn from in these games, but when you can learn from a game that you won, you're happy about that, especially with playoff implications and everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, these guys have been going now for almost 2 months. Fall camp for those guys started early this year. That's tough because you're going to Ireland. Not only that, but people don't take into account that you kind of have to ramp up your practices a little bit because you have that travel time that's longer, more extended to get out to Ireland. So you're ramping up like that good portion, probably a week and a half before that first game. So these guys have been going now for, almost 2 months. And you're right, Jirehl, like, need some fresh legs. This will be their first week since the 4th of July where they can actually somewhat get some things back, like get their legs back, get their minds back. Because it is, just as, physically exhausting, mentally exhausting, and the bye week is really a great week to step back mentally. Look at, the first 4 games and kind of assess where you are and where you sit and, go through the next 4 games, kind of break it down into a 4-game season each time. I think Campbell said that too before. So,
Yeah.
Well, and it's like you're playing not even just playing in Ireland, you're playing Kansas State, who's one of your bigger, if not one of the biggest rivals in the Big 12 for Iowa State. And then you immediately come home and now you have to play your true number 1 rival, which is Iowa. And then you're going to Arkansas State, so you're hitting the road. And it was like 112 degrees on the field, I think they showed on the broadcast, which that's so hot. I mean,
oh yeah.
Do you guys think that if Iowa State had played this way right after Ireland, people would have been more of like, oh, it's just so tough being on the road and tough doing the time zone thing? Would they have been more, sympathetic, maybe giving them more credit for that had it happened sooner? Or do you think because it's Arkansas State, people are just kind of going slight meltdown mode over it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if this game happened right after the Ireland game, everyone would just be like, oh, the travel, it's a time zone change, whatever. And it's super easy to put that on that. But when it's people kind of don't, I mean, people remember we were in Ireland, but it's not as much of an implication on your head when you're thinking about travel and stuff like that. But did I have it right that they stayed in Memphis and had to take a bus to Jonesboro?
Yes.
And that makes total sense knowing Coach Campbell because we used to do the same. Where was it that we stayed and we drove an hour to the game?
Well, Oklahoma State, we stayed in Oklahoma City. And then
Drove an hour to Stillwater.
Did you say West Virginia's a weird one too?
Yeah.
West Virginia's a weird one. Yeah. Which I can't.
And that sucks.
I mean,
that messes the whole morning routine before a game. I don't think you realize how much that messes it up because now everything's pushed up an hour earlier, but the time difference between when you're gonna be at the facility is a whole nother hour. Now you're just sitting on the bus like, oh, what do I do? Let's play Crazy 8 on the bus the whole way there.
Oh, for sure messes up your pregame rituals. I can tell you that. I was very superstitious, and when you have that longer extended bus ride, it messes everything up just a little bit. You got that weird gap where do you want to play your pregame playlist when you have an hour bus ride? No, but what do you want to listen to? So I normally just listen to some country, and it's kind of like, okay, can't get too hyped. We still have an hour bus ride. And then you kind of flip your playlist later. So not only that, but then you go into a stadium that probably feels like you're playing at Valley High School, to be honest. Probably not a huge stadium. I don't know what the capacity is, but that's always tough. New environments that aren't the greatest or not what you're used to. I'm sure it was a great environment, but not what you're used to. That can play a lot of things in your mental state that can kind of mess up your mojo.
Jirehl, were you superstitious? Did you have very specific rituals?
No, I mean, I guess just musically, I would just listen to calm stuff. I'd listen to R&B hours before the game, and then when we're out there, when I'm in the locker room right before I went out, I would get into some rap. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't very superstitious with anything. I did the same routine, but that's just because we're creatures of habit, and whatever I like to do to get myself ready for a game, I go into the weight room, hop on the bike, do some med ball slams, get myself just pumped up a little bit. That was as soon as we got through the spirit wall. Mm-hmm. Then we got on the field, just got loosened up and did some drills out there. It wasn't anything superstitious. I could have missed one and
Yeah.
it wouldn't
See,
have
I was
mattered that
complete
much.
opposite. I could not miss one. So, not at all. But I'm curious to see how that locker room was. I haven't heard how big the locker room was yet in Jonesboro, Arkansas. But that is also another factor. If you're in a locker room for a game and it's tight in there and you're bumping shoulders trying to get everything on and getting ready for the game, that's not a fun thing to do. So,
talk to me more about the mental side of it. Chris asked Leah a really good question last night during the post game, and it was something I was thinking about just from you guys having been football players. I mean, what is the mentality going into this game? If you have to like even try and put yourself in their shoes, you've had these, 2 games back at home, and now you're coming into this in Arkansas State, which it's no secret. Again, people have been very vocal about it. I'm sure they weren't super excited. They had to travel down there anyways. I believe Chris said this was like signed in 2013, which I hadn't even thought about that, which is good perspective to have because I know people were very angry about why is Iowa State even traveling to this game? Well, that decision was made in 2013 and it's now 2025. So that kind of makes sense when you put that into this. But I mean, what's the player mentality? You just played Kansas State, Iowa. Now you got to go into this game, to your last non-con game. You have a bye week. How does one even get amped up and stay locked in for this? Or do you?
oh, it's tough. I mean, if you love football, any given opportunity to go out and play a football game, you're gonna, run through someone's face, and so that's a given. But there is other external factors that do play into that a little bit. Everyone's probably the same amount of hype, not as much as you would be for an Iowa game, but like I talked about earlier, the stadium, walking around the stadium before a game, just not a big stadium and not a whole lot of hype around the game. Those kind of do play into that a little bit. It's like you have to kind of force yourself to get out there and get motivated and get ready like you're playing Iowa. Because it's just a human, as a human being, it's just naturally, those type of things that stack up like that are naturally going to lower your adrenaline. So you really have to force yourself to get in the mindset. And if you can't force yourself to get in the mindset to play a football game, then you have issues. So, but there is for sure some mental, component of it. It's like, it is hard. So it does play into an account for that. Not only pregame, but during the game too. Going into halftime yesterday, probably not a great feeling. And then it really starts to play with your mental, oh my gosh, we cannot, throw this game away. This would be almost embarrassing if we lost this game. So those do, come into play when you think about these games and you're thinking, as a player.
Especially and then adding that heat, just on top of all that on your mind, then you add that heat, and it's like, oh, dude, I really just want to get out of here. But you need to get out of there with a win. So you have to force yourself to do that.
I knew it was hot when I saw Tyler Miller not wear tights. Those are the things that I see. It had to be so hot for him to not, because he's always worn tights, under his pants, so his whole legs cover. First play of the game, I see Tyler's bare legs. I'm like, oh my gosh, it must be
those
that
tree
hot.
Trunks.
Yeah,
those tree trunks.
So that's how hot it was.
It's a big mental game, and I think coaches come into play a lot when it comes to younger guys and mental. Obviously, the older guys will have a little bit of that, but just their experience will be able to carry them through that. But when it comes to the younger guys who have kind of just gotten into this college football life and having to deal with this and not having your mom or dad to hold your hand throughout the season, it's big on these coaches, and it's also big on the leaders on the team to be able to show those guys the way and be able to not have miscues during the week that lead up to bad plays during the game or bad quarters, bad halves, or just a full bad game. So it starts throughout the whole week with everyone around, especially for a game like this. I mean, nobody wants to go play this game, like you guys said. This game was put on the schedule at a time where this team was not the team that it is now. This program wasn't the program that it is now. So, when that happens, you just gotta dig deep and know that you got a bye week coming up and just get to it.
You make a good point, Jirehl. Leadership is so important in these types of games. When it comes to pregame and on the sideline in between drives, you don't win that game yesterday without good leadership. So I know we got good leaders on that team. It starts with the quarterback. I know that guy's a winner. He's not letting you lose a game like that. Because that game easily with bad leadership or bad vibes all around, you easily lose that game yesterday, easily, especially with kind of things that were happening throughout the game that just weren't adding up in your favor. Like, it's so easy to just, kind of lay down and just, turn and let Arkansas State take all the momentum and ride that through the whole game and win the game. But we got good leadership. And so that's a good point, Jirehl. Like, huge, critical in those types of games. So that is for sure. You can put a stamp on it right now. Iowa State 2025, good leadership.
So when you look at this game, do you think it was just kind of one of those, it was just a bad day? It was a bad game. Doesn't really define how Iowa State can and will continue to show up? Or do you think there's a part of you that's like, should we be a little worried? Like, how did you feel once it ended?
There's things that I am worried about that could be mental things, but I've seen them in seen things happen in multiple games where if that happens against because let's be 100% honest, the 4 teams that we played, they're not good. The 4 teams that we have played, they are not good. So if those things were to have happened against, I'm looking at some of the other teams in the Big 12 that are Texas Tech, even TCU has looked pretty good. Like, pretty good. These are teams that if it happens against them, who knows how that'll play out.
Right.
We had the penalty against Iowa when we got the sack that led them to scoring. We had the penalty yesterday on the punt where it led them to scoring. Like, if those things happen against good teams, we don't win those games.
Yeah. I think, that's a great point, Jirehl. But on the other side, I think it's so easy as fans to kind of, read the blank picture a little too much. Like, you see Arkansas State versus Iowa State on the game stat sheet, and you think, wow, we only won that game by 8, right? 8. And it's like, oh, wow, it doesn't look great. The game obviously didn't look great. But then on the contrary, you got to, credit to Arkansas State. They're coached by a really good coach.
Yeah.
Who's been around the block. He knows how to coach.
A really good coach. Yeah, he does.
They have a really good quarterback and a really good wide receiver. So everyone wants to, I'm gonna be the guy that says, everyone wants to be like, wow, that was terrible. I can't believe we almost lost that game. Like, on the other side, I think Arkansas State, could be a good team too. You never know. On the road, quality win. And so yes, there is things you want to clean up, Jirehl, because you're right. Some of that stuff will get you beat in the Big 12. But at the same time, you take it, and I'm sure there's some positives on the film for yesterday. Look at our running back stats. If that, as an O-lineman and running back, Jirehl, I'm fired up about that. Are you kidding me? Averaging 7 a run for Carson Hansen and 6 or 7 for above 5 for both running backs. So
yeah, Carson 18 rushes for 116 yards and Abu 9 rushes for 69 yards.
Yeah, as an offensive lineman, I'm fired up about that. There was some really nice runs, some really good double teams on the O-line. And, a week ago, we struggled to run the ball sometimes. So that's a positive. We're looking at that game hey, if we can run the ball, which I think we probably should have ran the ball a little bit more yesterday too, honestly.
Especially on that first drive. First drive, the first run. Okay, I understand taking the shot. If you haven't figured it out yet, when we play lesser teams, we're going to throw a shot on the first play. We did it last year, twice this year. It's kind of, what I mean? But on that second play, I would have loved to just hand the ball off, get a few yards on that first one. I understand Rocco's got his read to throw it. I think Carson had maybe a first down on that first play, on that second play. But yeah, no, the way that the run game was, I think it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should have used it a little bit more.
It's really good because you're gonna have to run the ball in the Big 12 to win. Like, it's gonna come up. Like, we have to dial in these plays. Now you have a bye week to even go and correct it further. So that is like a positive. Like, there's a lot of things we could talk about today, and I'm sure there'll be a ton of other podcasts about all the bad. If one thing I want to take away from this podcast is that we ran the ball well, and that right there can lead us to where we want to go by the end of the season. And that's what I guarantee what they're talking about today in film is like, hey, that wasn't great, but hey, O-line, this looks pretty good. So that was a huge takeaway, I thought, which can hopefully continue to build on that. So,
well, and when it comes to Carson and Abu, I was looking at the post game, and it's like Carson Hansen hit the 1,000-yard rushing mark for his career in the first half.
Wow.
He's now the 5th Cyclone under Campbell to reach that milestone, and he finished with a career high 116 yards rushing, and the most by a Cyclone since Abu in the infamous Kansas State game in 2023.
Wow.
And then for Abu, he scored a second rushing touchdown of the season and 10th of his career, which was in the fourth quarter. And the 4-yard run was just the 4th rushing touchdown less than 50 yards in his career.
And we had a long one get called back for holding too.
Yeah, his 44-yard run in the third quarter was his longest run of the season and the longest for a Cyclone this year so far.
Yeah, because I think they were literally talking about it on the broadcast, how we haven't had a run longer than 15 plus. And then he broke one off for like 40 something. I was like, okay, thanks for that broadcaster jinx. Thank you for it.
So looking at this game, just final thoughts on just the gameplay itself. What stood out to you guys the most, if you had to pick something? And you can either make it positive, negative. I'll let you decide what you want to take away from it, how you frame it. But just what's the one key takeaway?
I think it's the ability to win tough environment, tough games, tough. What I'm trying to say is the ability to overcome a tough scenario, tough environment, tough situation. So that's really big. You're going to go to a lot of different places in the Big 12 and go on the road. So getting in a road game under your belt, getting a win, getting back home, go to bye. Like, at the end of the day, like, they'll correct what was wrong yesterday. They were sloppy at times, but that go in there and win that game, because we remember what could have happened yesterday, and we talked about it last week, the Ohio game. So big win. So I'm gonna keep it more positive and say, we have the ability to win tough environments and tough situations. So that's my one big takeaway. And another thing, actually, now I think of it, another takeaway is I want to shout out Tyler Moore. Couple good plays from that kid yesterday, and from my time there, that dude has been through the Rocky Mountain to get to where he is today. That guy got injured, I swear, every other day, and it was just tough sledding for him. And I've been there, and it's not fun. When you come back from an injury to get injured again, like, it's very demoralizing and it's not very fun. But to see him out there executing, some big time catches, good for him. So that's another big key positive takeaway. So
yeah, I'm gonna keep it on a positive tip too. I think, Jake, you hit it on the head, really. Just the will that this team shows. Like, it hasn't been a great, like, first part of the season. Like, there's been a lot of stuff that they've had to go through, and a lot of teams that would demoralize them. We wouldn't be sitting here 4-0 going into a bye week thinking about Big 12 championship aspirations still. I think Kansas State is kind of showing you how the season could have went if you lose that game, that game in Ireland. Because think about losing your first game in a whole nother country, and then and it's also a rivalry game like that. You're just like, okay, what else do we have to kind of play for this year. Already you're thinking that. So winning that game, willing themselves to win that game, and then also willing themselves to a rivalry game against Iowa, willing themselves to a game, even though I don't think they should have had to will themselves to this game yesterday with all of that going on behind. You had to, and you did. So, I mean, I think you could definitely be proud of this group for sure for just having that will to win, you know. And Jake, you say like it couldn't have, at another time it wouldn't have went that way. I think we got to stop talking like that as Cyclone fans. You know, I kind of caught myself on it last week when I said it about the Iowa game, but a game like this, we shouldn't be looking in the past and being like that it could have went like that in the past. We got to look forward and be like, it shouldn't happen like this at all. You know what I mean? If we would really want to take ourselves from where we are on this pedestal of college football and go to a higher place, we got to think bigger instead of smaller.
Okay, Jirehl. I see you. Little wise words for Cyclone Nation on this fine Sunday morning.
Well, since Colin isn't here, I'll tell you my favorite thing out of yesterday was that Iowa State trailed for the first time this season for approximately 28 seconds. That's
nice.
They were trailing for 28 seconds before Rocco had that touchdown to Overby. So, shout out.
That drive was great. That drive was great.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
So we've only been trailing this year for 28 seconds so far?
Yeah.
Wow.
The first time Cyclones have trailed.
Wow. It brings up another good point I just remembered. If you remember the post-game press conference from the Kansas State game, Coach Campbell said, our first 4 games are the toughest in the country, or one of the toughest in the country, whatever he said. Mm-hmm. He didn't say 3 games. He didn't say we have a really tough 3 games, and then we get to have an easy one at Arkansas State. He knew this game was going to be tough.
Yeah.
I think that's another, point that I just remembered, that, a win's a win.
A win is a win. A win is a win. It is.
Especially 4-0. 4-0. Well, before we dive into quick big picture stuff, especially heading into this bye week and next game against Arizona, just want to give a shout out to our friends, show sponsor, Wyffels Hybrids. They are a family owned seed company here all in on Iowa. They, like I've mentioned before, they have a new Ames facility. They have strong support for Cyclone athletics. They have a partnership with IXU Extension and the College of Ag and Life Sciences. And of course, huge supporters of Cyclone Fanatic. So they're making some noise in 2025. That's their big marketing campaign this year. So Cyclones helping Cyclones. Check them out. Lucky to have them here. Oh, hit my mic there. But of course, like we said, bye week is so necessary. Gabe Burkle traveled to Arkansas, but did not play in the game. Sounded like he just needed that extra rest. Something's going on there. And then it sounds like Conradi got hurt during the game. It's kind of unclear from everything I had looked at. So clearly, like you guys have said, they really need that. But what I find interesting is that Iowa State's next game will be at home September 27th against Arizona. Arizona had a 23-17 win over Kansas State. What a shit show. But Arizona also has a bye week. And we talk a lot about how all these bye weeks are so important to the teams, right? And how they're lined up in your competition. Well, now Arizona's feeling on their own high because they've also marked a milestone with their undefeated record so far. Iowa State's kind of going into theirs a little more, really needing that break. So it's like, does that in a way change the perspective going into the game? Like, because, I feel like when we talk about these bye weeks, it'll be like, oh, but their opponent has a really tough game before us. So it really kind of sets a tone. Does Iowa State and Arizona having both a bye week change the conversation in any way?
Well, there's 2 ways that you can come off a bye week. You can come off a bye week lackluster, or you can come off a bye week like spry and ready to go. And for Iowa State, we just got to make sure that we're coming off spry and ready to go. We don't care what they do. But I think for this game, like, people will bring up the fact that both teams have a bye, so it should be. But coming off a bye doesn't really mean that you're gonna win the next game. Obviously, you want to be good off the bye. You want to be, because that just shows that your mentality as a team is strong. Some small mentality teams, they're going to come off the bye a little lackluster. Oh, we didn't have a game last week. No, coach is still going to make sure that they're right in practice on this bye week. They're going to get their rest, but they're still going to go out there, and guys that haven't really played this year, they're going to go practice, and you might see some guys coming off the bye week that, put in some work in practice and got their name right in front of coach in practice, and he might be like, okay, you're fresh, you haven't played in 4 games, let's throw him in the game against Arizona off a bye and see what he can do. So you might see that, and it's happened before, so things are going to change after this bye week a little for Iowa State.
Think of it like, for us working people, think of it like you go to vacation and you're coming back to work from vacation. Sometimes when I take a vacation, I'm ready to work the next day, fired up. Sometimes I come back from vacation and I don't get anything accomplished because I still am halfway on vacation. So that's the best way to put like bye weeks. Like, you can either use it to your advantage or it's going to be also not so good. So the bye weeks are super nice. You enjoy it. You get more free time to do whatever you want to do, throughout the week. Mentally reset, but come next week, you got to flip that switch again. And some teams do struggle, coming off a bye because they're just not in sync with their routine. Like, coming off a routine that you've been in now for 4 weeks, and then you're coming off a new routine where you kind of had some free time the week before, and it's just hard sometimes. But the good teams win after the bye. Average mid teams struggle after a bye. That's the way I'll put it. But back to your question, with Arizona having a bye too, it just kind of evens the playing field a little bit. Both teams will be rested. Both teams will be excited to play a game. So it's going to even the playing field. It does change a little bit. You would probably want to see Arizona play a game next week, but that's also fine, because then they might have been on a routine that they can't slow down, and they're on the roll. So
well, Rocco Becht, in the post game, he said, on your point, we're going into this bye week like it's a game week. We're going to be physical with one another at practice. We're going to be smart with it, but we're going to continue to get better throughout the week and be prepared for Arizona.
Sounds like Rocco already has the practice plans. Jeez. Good job getting the practices set up, Rocco.
I was going to say, are you surprised?
No.
25 period practice.
No.
What are you guys most excited about? Like, what are you looking forward to now is, coming back, hitting the ground running here? That Arizona game, I think, is going to be really fun. It's going to be in Ames. I'm curious to see what time slot they get. What are you looking forward to?
I'm excited to see how we adjust defensively. Arkansas State had their quarterback he was really good, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And his legs were on fire, and that's all. We've always struggled against running quarterbacks. Arizona has a running quarterback. That guy can run. I'm excited to see how he adjusts for him, because he has an arm too, but his legs are what killed Kansas State. So no, I'm excited to see how we adjust to his style of play, and tackling. I feel like this past game, tackling wasn't the best. I feel like we're physically drained and everything like that. So hopefully that the bye week gets us ready to start tackling some people again. There's one guy though, Marcus Neal, who's never had a problem tackling. That dude.
No, that dude can tackle.
Yeah.
No, I think I'm really excited about the defense too, Jared. That's a great point. A lot of different things to look at from the film yesterday and see where they go with that. I know a big topic right now is we don't really get a pressure on the quarterback a lot, which has always been kind of the drawback of an odd defense. When I say odd defense, that's we play 3 defensive linemen down instead of 4. That would be an even front, odd even. So we've done this for a long time. Most Cyclone fans know we play an odd defense, but you essentially have 5 offensive linemen blocking 3 people, so it is tough. And you don't have the Will McDonald's of the world, which he will probably be first team All Pro this year. Just saying. Jirehl, you agree? First team All Pro, Will McDonald.
I mean, 2 sacks first week. We'll see what he does this week. But
yeah. Anyways, the point I'm getting at is, it'll be really exciting to see how that defense comes back. And, at the same time, we've still given up less than 20 points. Like, it's like our defense is locked down when it turns into that, that zone we talked about last week, holding teams to field goals, not always letting up the big home run plays. So really excited about that. I'm also really excited about how we continue to run the football, obviously, as a O-line guru, kind of. I love, different run concepts. And maybe one time this year we can do a little run concepts whiteboard edition with the Remy and Jirehl and Colin.
I would love to. I would love to do that with you. I haven't wrote football plays on a whiteboard since. Well, we won't talk.
If you want to see this, guys, we'll break down some plays for you. Just
it's what the people want.
Give a like on the YouTube, or make a little comment, or subscribe to Cyclone Fanatic YouTube.
Jake's trying to get a little Gruden-y.
Yeah, we can do a little Gruden-y, but yeah, that's also another thing. I think that's going to be key to what we want to get to is obviously the Big 12 championship, college football playoff, and you're gonna have to be able to run the ball. And knowing Coach Clanton, Coach Mouse, I know they still have tricks up their sleeves for the run game. The concepts already are like, wow, like those concepts are intense and they are complicated and they're super fun to watch. And when you don't have to play and understand them and execute them on a Saturday, they can be stressful when you are playing and you have to execute them on a Saturday. But super fun to watch how that continues to develop this year. Obviously, we have 2 great running backs who are home run hitters. So, the defense and running football for me.
So if you had to think of one thing Iowa State should focus on really working on to go into the next game and, have a successful turnout, what's one thing you think they should focus on?
I'm gonna say pass rush, because QB contain is also implicated in pass rush. So Jake, I might have stole yours, sorry, but
you're good.
Yeah, pass rush and QB contain. That's what I want to see, like going into this bye week. That's what I want to see get better a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I could pick something else too, though.
I hopefully I'm going to do it for you, Jirehl. I was going to say special teams. Would love to see us get better at special teams. Obviously, we don't have to really. I would not like to talk about what happened yesterday in terms of special teams. We'll just move past that. We got the win, whatever. But I do want to, I would love to see us continue to progress in special teams and really make some difference making plays in games on the special teams front, whether that's punt returns, kickoff returns, blocked punts, blocked field goals, just difference making plays that continue to, pop up throughout the year. So obviously they'll get that dialed in. Not too worried about it. But shout out my boy Zay Robinson too. Starting for kickoff return yesterday, I believe. So shout out Zay, go Tigers.
That wasn't the other thing I was going to say, Jake. I was going to say red zone.
Offense?
Yeah, red zone offense. Just settling for 3 a lot. There was obviously the Iowa game. We could have won that game way earlier if we just scored on those first couple of possessions.
For sure.
So, obviously you obviously strive to be perfect in the red zone, but can't get it there all the time. It's a hard place to score. We talked about it last week, I think. We're shorter field. So, but I just want to see how they can cook up in the cook up some nice plays in the red zone, because that's where you start to see some creativity. Try to get people open, especially when teams are in man. If they're in man, in zone, it's a little bit harder because you're just trying to find gaps. But in man, that's where you see the creativity with bumps. And you saw the three tight end set that we were in, and we had them motion over to the left side. And that's when Carson Hansen had that was on the 2-point conversion,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. But when you do that, it sets a pick for Carson because the linebacker has him man. So all three of those guys are out there, and they all running in, and that guy can't get out there, so it's a wide open. Just creativity plays like that. They're probably thinking it's going to be a run because they have 3 tight ends on the field. So, sorry to get it too football-y on you guys, but
the people want, Jirehl.
Yeah, that's why they're here.
Yeah, maybe we could get a whiteboard. I think it'd be easier to show you guys, make you listeners hop on YouTube for a little bit.
I think they would love that. I really do think they would.
We should do it.
I did not know Arizona has a turnover sword. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I've not seen that.
Makes sense.
I'll send it to, unless Aiden just so happens to have it, but I can send the tweet to him that I saw it. I'd like to not see them have to not use that.
Yeah,
but
make sure that thing never comes out.
They stabbed the footballs on it.
Let's make sure that thing never comes out.
Oh, I've seen they put the footballs on it. I know exactly what you're talking about now. Yeah.
Look at that. That's crazy.
Good night, is it Tucson? Is that how you pronounce it?
Tucson.
That was fun. Well, it won't be fun in 2 weeks. Wildcats.
One of my friends who listens to the podcast, his son, Holden Moon, told me on Friday night, he's like, you laugh a lot on the podcast. So now I've felt insecure this whole time that I'm just so much more aware that I laugh at the things you guys say more often than not.
One thing I do want to, because I do wonder what time they're going to give us for this game, because this is a team who's in another time zone too, so that travel might be different, game time might be different for them, and everything like that as well.
I'll put them at 11 o'clock.
That would be terrible. That'd be terrible. That'd be is that an 8 or 7 o'clock game for them? Arizona doesn't have daylight savings, so it's 7.
7. No, 8.
8?
Yeah. No.
Arizona doesn't have daylight savings.
9 in the morning. Anyways.
That would be, I was trying to see if I could quickly find what's scheduled for that day.
I'm going to guess that we will be a night game. If I had to guess.
And it's a whiteout game.
It is the whiteout game. Mm-hmm. Oh, it has to be a night game then.
Are they wearing the white and blacks?
I mean, all the promotional material has them in that white uniform, so I would guess yes.
The
Otherwise,
white and blacks?
Or they could trick us and they come out in their black uniforms, but
no,
I feel like
the white and blacks, the white with the black.
Yes, the black stripes.
Yes.
Do I have to correct that? I just thought about this yesterday. When we got our new jerseys and they posted the social media of our new jerseys, did we have yellow pants in there?
Yeah. Or the gold ones?
Yeah, there's
I thought
gold.
yesterday might have been the day to bring out the gold pants.
I hope I never see them.
I don't like calling them yellow.
Yeah, it's
the gold pants.
My bad.
Yeah, when I think yellow, then I'm like, okay, we got yellow and red. Okay, we're mustard and ketchup. I don't think like things.
Whiteout game.
Yeah, whiteout. Get your white gear at Cyclone Fanatic, cyclonefanaticsshop.com. So it should be fun. I'm excited to see what they roll out with. I would love to see the black script font on the white helmet.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. That would be sweet.
We'll have to see. Final thoughts, guys?
Let's enjoy this bye week.
Let's enjoy it.
Let's relax. Finally, a Saturday we can just relax and watch football.
Yeah, let your hair down.
11 hours of stress-free football next Saturday, and I cannot wait.
Well, as always, thanks for listening, guys. Go bully Colin for not being on the pod this week. Happy birthday to Aiden. And again, shout out to Wyffels Hybrids.
We don't condone bullying.